Are Prince Harry and Meghan Markle teetering on the edge of a precipice? The X-Files on the rejected prince's tour and his attempts to bribe the British public. Harry's ostentatious generosity during his British visit hides devastating failures, cynical manipulations, and desperate attempts at rehabilitation. Our investigation, based on exclusive sources and incriminating facts, exposes the true nature of this carefully orchestrated but doomed performance. Generosity or cold calculation, the mystery of the mysterious transfer of £1.1 million. At the center of the scandal is Harry's unexpected and extremely public statement about a personal contribution of £1.1 million for BBC Children in Need. This act, designed to impress the public with generosity, turns into a network of deception and contradictions upon detailed analysis. Why now? The funds were transferred back in December last year. Why has the information been made public only now, in the midst of a visit that opponents have already called an official self-justification tour? The reason is obvious: a crude PR maneuver aimed at distracting attention from the collapse of Hollywood ambitions and the shameful memoirs of Spare. The source of funding, the key question. Salty Duchess, a sharp-tongued blogger, raises a legitimate question. Aren't these the funds that were received for betraying her family? Isn't this money royalties from a contract with Netflix and a scandalous book where he vilified his father, brother and sister-in-law with unprecedented cruelty? The prince seeks to clean up his image, literally laundering the capital earned by his own destruction.
Tax privileges? Was this payment made through his business structures in order to receive significant tax benefits? In this case, his philanthropy would be partially funded by the British taxpayers, for whom he feels such contempt. Abode of shame. Why did the exiled heir live in a suite with money from benefactors? While King Charles III was in Scotland and Prince William was on his family estate, Harry made a revealing choice. Instead of accommodation in the royal residence, he comfortably settled in the prestigious Royal Lancaster Hotel. A sensational investigation by Shooter Scoop reveals that all expenses, flights, hotel and security were discreetly covered by his own charitable foundation. Sources from the royal entourage are outraged. He could have settled with his family. He refused. I booked a room as an invited businessman. This symbolizes his current position. He is no longer a relative, but a paid visitor whose stay is funded by donations intended to help the disadvantaged. The Nottingham fiasco. Deserted streets and third-rate celebrities. All the power of the Sussex PR apparatus was mobilized to imitate popular adoration. But reality turned out to be merciless. The footage selected by propagandists like Chris Sheep from ITV showed several enthusiastic fans. However, the Nottingham Live report revealed a shocking reality. An hour before the Duke's appearance, the city streets were empty. The stark contrast with his 2017 visit, when hundreds of townspeople gathered to greet him and newlywed Meghan Markle, speaks volumes. Host Piers Morgan summed it up accurately. What did we learn from Harry's trip? No one is interested in him. His current entourage only highlights his downfall. Instead of world leaders and heads of state, retired 90s pop singers Kimberly Walsh and Peter Andre are photographed with him. As columnist Lauren Fair accurately noted, if you want to understand how Harry's career is developing after breaking up with his family, just look at this photo.
Meghan's destructive strategy. While Harry was trying to make an impression in Britain, Meghan, who stayed in California, added wood to the fire. For the first time in a long period, she decided to support her husband on Instagram by posting a video from Hello magazine. However, as usual with Markle, there was a poisonous meaning in this act. Royal analyst and YouTuber P. Dina pointed out a critical detail. The video was specially selected to demonstrate an awkward episode when Harry, after making sure the frame is ready, immediately turns away and leaves the child. This is not support, but Meghan's sophisticated but recognizable style to belittle her husband, exposing his falsity and inability to communicate sincerely without relying on lenses. Petty attacks against William and discretion of the Queen's precepts. Even communicating with seriously ill children at the Well Child Award ceremony, Harry could not refrain from wild attacks on his brother. In a conversation with 17-year-old Declan Bitme, he persistently tried to push the young man to the idea that brothers must drive each other crazy. When the guy replied about their wonderful relationship, Harry's displeasure became noticeable. He failed to hide the need to project his own destructive relationships onto others. This visit was an insult to the memory of his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. It was she who clearly stated at the Sandringham Summit in 2020, "There is no compromise option, half in, half out." The monarch cannot derive commercial profit from the status while simultaneously performing official functions. Harry making millions in California on scandalous projects and interviews and then arriving in Britain to demonstrate generosity is doing exactly what Elizabeth II categorically disapproved of. He is trying to combine the incongruous, the American model of ostentatious philanthropy for image rehabilitation, and the British concept of selfless service, which he has trampled on. Prince Harry's tour is not the return of a lost son. This is an expensive, clumsily performed performance of a man who has completely lost touch with reality. His pathetic attempts to gain love, his cynical use of charity for PR purposes, and his venomous attacks on his family prove only one thing. He has never realized what the true power and duty of the royal family is. And while William and Kate quietly but steadily confirm their dedication to duty, Harry continues his inglorious show, finally turning into a living caricature of himself.
Prince Harry finally returned home, and Meghan is triumphant. She has every reason to be happy. Sources in the know claim that the Duchess was seriously worried. Of course, Britain was fraught with many temptations for her husband: public attention, old friends, nostalgic memories, and most importantly, her father could put forward conditions that were difficult to ignore. However, the prince preferred to return to the one who now determines his life course, or maybe just to his beloved wife and children. Do not exclude the fairy tale version of the prince and his Cinderella. Both immediately made themselves felt on social media. She demonstrates relaxation and again promotes her updated but unavailable for purchase rose, and he suddenly began to refute the obvious facts. By tradition, they're contradictory and crave universal adoration.
To discuss the huge elephant in the room, which Harry personally brought and dubbed "My Candid Memoirs," Buckingham Palace, following the centuries-old tradition of silence in any storms, issued a dry, "The meeting has passed." The explanation is simple. Yes, he came. No, we weren't crying with happiness. Yes, we survived it. Immediately after a tense family date, Harry takes a dizzying turn and rushes to the country with the letter U. A brilliant PR maneuver. You can't criticize someone who talks to veterans against the backdrop of real ruins. Any accusations about his family scandals instantly look petty. That's where Harry talks to The Guardian. His statements are a work of art in the genre of absolving oneself from responsibility. It's not about revenge, it's about responsibility. A typical mantra of those who wish to strike while looking like a thinker. Translation: I shamed them in front of the whole world for their own benefit. It was a gesture of supreme mercy. I don't take dirty laundry out in public. Seriously? He sincerely believes that the story of frostbite on intimate parts, family quarrels, and conversations with the late Queen is not tabloid fiction but the spiritual enlightenment of the nation. I have a clear conscience. A powerful statement removes all claims. After such words, all that remains is to clap and apologize for doubting his nobility.
Reconciliation is impossible without truth. And here is a graceful lunge at my brother. They say that I have outlined my version of the truth in a 400-page book. Now it's your turn. Gentlemen, repent of your ostentatious grandeur and falseness. It wasn't a plea for forgiveness, it was an ultimatum. Reconciliation is possible only if the royal family accepts his truth and is ready for new revelations. Act 2, Retaliation, or How to Maintain Dignity After a Public Slap in the Face.
The monarchy responded with the traditional, centuries-old method of restrained silence and forced politeness. The king, who had been waiting for the throne all his life and dreamed of a quiet reign with corgis and watercolors instead of continuing the family saga, behaved like an exhausted father. He found time for his son between official events. His message was very clear. "Harry, you are my son. I love you by default. But for God's sake, I'm an elderly, tired man with cancer. Can you finally stop? Here's tea. Here's permission to see my grandchildren, whom I haven't seen in 3 years. You can tell them about the insidious press. Just let me spend the rest of my days in peace without participating in your podcasts. And tell your actress, in general, be quiet." This is not a passionate reconciliation. This is a truce for the sake of peace. Fragile, conditional, and dependent on Harry's promise not to write any more books. The most telling signal from William is his absence. He was several kilometers away from his brother that day and preferred to do anything rather than meet. His silence is more eloquent than any words. "I have a country to govern. I have a family to protect me from your chaos. I have neither the time nor the desire to participate in your one-man show." It's not a grudge, it's a strategic avoidance. Act 3, The Main Director or the Triumph of Meghan Markle. While the men were sorting things out through hints and tea rituals, the chief strategist of the Duchy of Sussex acted without unnecessary words. In sunny California, where the air is saturated with the aromas of lavender and PR technology, fun reigned. Prince Harry, tired but satisfied, has completed his European tour. His achievements include meeting his father, avoiding his brother, visiting a conflict zone, and being interviewed about his unwillingness to discuss family, a genuine marathon of modesty. Her online posting is not a cute family sketch. It's a manifesto etched in digital stone. This is the ultimate skill of modern PR, hidden aggression in a shell of elegant minimalism. She doesn't write, "How wonderful that my husband has reconciled with his family." She states, "When your handsome man is back in town." The emphasis is completely shifted. Not the family, not reconciliation, not the king. She's the center of attention. She is the final point of his journey. She is a reward. He completed a difficult mission with his relatives and returned to a place where understanding, meditation, and well-chosen California wine await him. From a PR point of view, it's the perfect ending. The king can give a title, already existing. The family can give conditional approval. But Meghan offers everything: a purpose, a mission, a brand, and a flawlessly filtered life as a new benchmark. Her post proclaims, "Your monarchy with rituals is yesterday. Our monarchy is wine, yoga, and signature sincerity. I am his Marina, his Montecito, his winemaker who definitely needs to be mentioned." Final calculation. Let's assume the simple truth that no sincere, deep reconciliation has taken place. An exchange of PR messages took place. Harry stated, "I do not repent, but I am open to dialogue provided that I am right." The king replied, "I'm ready for a dialogue if you stop shaming us in public." Meghan added, "The dialogue is wonderful, but everything really important is happening here in our California Eden, accompanied by our rose wine." There are practically no intersection points. They will not become a single happy family. They will remain a family with rare contacts under the supervision of the paparazzi, provided that Harry refrains from new memoirs. But he will continue.
Prince Harry has once again dealt a blow to the royal family. His new interview caused heated discussions. Another attack on the royal family. Prince Harry, who long ago changed his monarchical duty to the role of a professional victim, provided another provocative interview to The Guardian, where he repeatedly slandered relatives and hinted at the critical condition of King Charles III, seeking to arouse sympathy for himself. While the whole world is watching the royal battle against cancer with excitement, his youngest son is turning this tragedy into an instrument of his manipulations. In conversation, Harry said with feigned sadness, "I do not know how much time my father has left, and that attention should be focused on him." This is not a show of concern, it is outright blackmail, and an attempt to influence the public consciousness while the family is going through the most difficult period. A genuine son would have demonstrated respect and delicacy rather than speculating on ailments in the media space. I didn't divulge family secrets, the most blatant lie of the year. The apogee of duplicity. It was the man who published the memoir accusation of reserve, exposing the innermost family secrets, calmly claims, "I don't think I disclosed any private information. It's so ridiculous that it doesn't fit in the mind." He dares to call the stream of slander and gossip against his family a principled position and a narrative correction. Where are his principles when it comes to million-dollar contracts with Netflix and royalties? The Duchess is a preacher. Meghan taught him honesty. Of course, it was not without the wise teachings of his wife. Harry let slip that Meghan allegedly teaches him that being honest is the most effective way to exist. That's right, the same Meghan whose true stories in the Oprah Winfrey program were systematically refuted by facts. The same honesty that led her and Harry to be caught lying about the circumstances of the wedding and the titles of their descendants. Their truth is just a profitable narrative that they sell to a gullible audience in order to keep their attention and replenish their accounts. Hero of the era. How Harry exploits military veterans. Harry did not miss his favorite image of the defender of the military. His Ukrainian voyage, to which, by the way, he willingly invited journalists, despite constant complaints about their importunity, is presented as a great humanitarian action. In reality, this is just another PR trick allowing him to try on the remnants of his former prestige and importance, which he deliberately exchanged for a Californian existence. He enjoys the flattery of the locals, who call him a symbol of victory, although his own stories about military achievements have been repeatedly questioned. Conclusion. This interview is not a cry of suffering, but a carefully thought-out aggression. While the royal family maintains nobility and silence, Harry and Meghan are systematically stabbing each other in the back, seeking to extract maximum benefit from their royal lineage. They are the living embodiment of hypocrisy. They demand privacy, but they themselves are sold by the paparazzi. They proclaim the truth, but they themselves create a network of deception. They portray a loving family, but they ruthlessly speculate on their father's illness. They are not injured. They are a source of problems. It's time to stop giving in to their cheap ideas.
Prince Harry and the controversial position Meghan Markle has undermined her husband's reputation. Once again, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle found themselves at the center of discussions. Once again, they are accused of inconsistency and double morality. And the reason was just a video of Harry surfing. What can cause dissatisfaction and controversy here? The fact is that Harry conquers the waves in the artificial pool Kelly Slater's Surf Ranch. The prince, who moved to sunny California, prefers to surf in a place where a huge amount of energy is used to generate artificial waves. But what about declarations on the protection of the planet and environmental projects? Controversial video. On her account, Meghan shared with fans colorful shots of a man resembling Harry riding a board. She accompanied the video with the Salt and Peppa song, "What a Man," and the caption, "Interrupting the standard program for an important announcement," with a fox emoji. The video is intended as a touching moment highlighting their family well-being. Why a fox? For reference, Meghan calls the red-haired prince Fox, either for the color of her hair or for her cunning. Or
Why a man who resembles a prince? Because a scandal broke out on the internet and the couple supporters suddenly chose an unusual defensive strategy. They began to claim that it was not Harry at all. Meghan allegedly just posted footage of a similar athlete to show how her husband was having a great time. Instead of sitting in a gloomy room taking care of a bird or watering citrus trees day after day, Meghan was counting on admiration. But instead of raptures, the video generated a wave of skepticism. Social media users and surfers attacked Harry with accusations of hypocrisy. How can an environmental activist living by the ocean in Montecito drive 160 kilometers to an energy-intensive artificial swimming pool? While Meghan is developing the As Ever brand and preparing new projects for Netflix, this incident has called into question their environmental image. Environmental reputation under threat. Prince Harry has repeatedly advocated for nature conservation. He supported sustainable development programs, condemned pollution, and even created projects like Travelist for ecotourism. However, the video of surfing at Kelly Slater's Surf Ranch caused confusion. The pool in Lemoore, California, 160 kilometers from the coast, consumes huge amounts of energy and water, 15 million gallons, about 70 million liters. A real outrage has begun on the web. Environmentalist Harry, who lives by the ocean in Montecito, goes inland to ride artificial waves that burn tons of energy. It's not surfing, it's riding an amusement ride. Wow, a meter wave in the pool? Bravo. Until you swallow sand in a real ocean or get hit on the head with a board, this is a children's pool. He can barely keep his balance on the board. Let me know when Harry gets up the courage to go out into the ocean. Critics emphasize that Harry, living in Montecito, could surf in the ocean rather than spending resources on a trip to an artificial reservoir. This is a particularly painful topic, given that Harry and Meghan present themselves as adherents of an eco-friendly lifestyle. What is Kelly Slater's Surf Ranch? Kelly Slater Surf Ranch, opened in 2015 by surfing legend Kelly Slater, is an elite complex in Lemoore that creates artificial waves. Built in collaboration with Merriweather Companies and Big Sky Wave Developments, it is considered a technological breakthrough. Waves up to 2 meters high are ideal for training, but there are costs behind the perfection. The pool requires 15 million gallons of water and significant energy consumption.
Although, according to GQ, the complex uses solar energy, eco-friendly materials like crushed seashells for paths, and has abandoned single-use plastic, locals complain about noise, light pollution, and heavy traffic. And what is required for ocean surfing? Almost none of the above. Just Harry himself, the board, the wetsuit, and the waves. The network cannot determine why the prince chose this particular place. He was afraid that the beach would not be safe and fans would rush to take pictures? Or is he just afraid to catch real waves, preferring the conditions of an elite club? A solid production from this couple. The video appeared against the background of Meghan's active promotion of her lifestyle brand As Ever, launched in 2025. She advertises jams, pastries, and wine, often making micro-influencer reposts on Instagram. But branding expert Chad Dixera criticized this tactic in an interview. The reposts of mediocre influencers blur the brand's positioning. It looks like a filler, not a thoughtful launch. In his opinion, As Ever has potential due to Meghan's strong name and story, but lacks originality, and the focus on celebrities makes the brand less accessible to ordinary customers. The Harry video also seems artificial to critics. He's trying too hard, they write next. And some call it forced amid rumors of a divorce, which the couple refutes with similar publications. Conclusion. The video of Prince Harry surfing at Kelly Slater Surf Ranch was supposed to demonstrate his happy California life, but instead it showed again that the image of an environmentalist is needed only to monetize a new life. It's not working out very well so far. And by the way, many people understood Harry, who is standing uncertainly on the board, why he chose this particular place to learn surfing. He might just be scared to try it in the ocean. But in that case, you shouldn't have shown this video to your fans. Most of them are at a loss. Living by the ocean, he preferred an energy-intensive pool and instantly became a verbal eco-activist. While Meghan is promoting As Ever and the couple is preparing new projects for Netflix, focusing on helping people and saving the planet, this episode reminds us that public actions must comply with the stated principles. Otherwise, a wave of criticism will not be long in coming. Once again, everyone blames Meghan. She doesn't seem to think at all about what she posts online. Or, on the contrary, he calculates every move, and it follows the principle. Let them say whatever they want. The main thing is not to be silent.